Hey guys, Jay Aristo back with another how-to guide on how to build up your units in Fire Emblem 3 houses. Today we will be going over the Blue Lions. To start the list off, we'll go to Dimitri, the High Lord himself. Obviously Dimitri has an A in Lance because that's pretty much his main weapon, an A in Authority because he does have a Lord thing going on, and a B+ in Sword. I gave these things to him specifically because of the whole Lord thing, and it was kind of just working out with him during my playthrough. Now, unlike the Golden Deer that I played the route about 3 different times, I've only played the Blue Lions once so far, but I feel like I have an understanding on what they are because my eyes were a bit more open as I recruited most of these other students that were recruitable in the other path of the Golden Deer. And then pretty late in the game, Dimitri asked if he could learn writing like his father, and I let him. But I didn't really see any use in that. I just kind of just gave it to him because I had an A in Lance, an A in Authority, and a B+ in Sword, and he was already doing so well. But that's pretty much it for Dimitri. I mean, I don't think he'd be a great Cavalier or Paladin or Great Knight or whatever on horseback. Maybe a Bow Knight, but that means skipping out on the Authority and Sword, or if you want to do it all, just keep the grind up. But I think his High Lord class is probably going to be the best for him, as is all the Lord classes. Next we have Dudu, and the way I kind of grew him out is I went towards the Armored Knight kind of path, but I wanted to deviate away from it. Spoiler warning, I forgot about that in the beginning intro, but there's spoilers to this, and Dudu is actually not immediately in your party after the 5-year time skip. He's actually gone for quite a bit. I forget how many chapters, but he's gone, so that means he misses out on some growths, which means that you really have to focus on him in the beginning. For instance, I kind of grew him Axe, Armor, and Writing when I had done it, because I knew I wanted to make him a Great Knight, because I didn't want him anything too slow like the Fortress Knight. And the War Master just didn't seem right. I did give him a C in Brawling, but that was more of just because the path I took him down to the Fortress Knight, which he was going to become regardless, I could still use Brawling. But getting everything out of the way, when I did get him, I finally decided, okay, I'm going to focus on writing a shit ton now. And then when I finally got to it, he became a great knight. Alright, next off to Felix, or how me and some of my friends jokingly call him Sasuke, because that's kind of the impression he gave off when I first saw him through my first playthrough. And he was actually the first person I recruited, and since then I just kept on recruiting him, mostly because the Golden Deer didn't really have a good swordsman besides maybe Lysathea. But everyone else was kind of like a mounted unit, or just Lysathea the Gremory. So Felix was my go-to swordsman, so obviously I focused on his sword as for an A and B+ for reason, just because the Mortal Savant needs those as a requirement. I gave him an A in Faith so that he could also heal other people on the battlefield. And then for Brawling, one of his talents I put up to a C, just because I thought I might as well just keep training that up until I max out the sword and the reason. And once it becomes a Mortal Savant, the sword and the reason really stack up, especially with the skills you get. So Brawl's just kinda there just to have an extra option. Alright, next we have everyone's favorite, best good boy Blue Lion, Ash. And just like Ignatz, he was kind of an obvious archer. So I took him down the archer, sniper, bow knight path, focused him bow writing. Luckily his lance skills were pretty good, so I got that to a C just for the bare minimum requirement, because short spears and javelins. And then I focused on his authority for B+, bow and writing A, authority B+, lance C. I only focused on 4 for most of these characters, just because, like I said before, the Golden Deer I kind of had a really good understanding by my 3rd playthrough, and this was I barely just finished my Blue Lions, so I'm just focusing on 4. But maybe I'll do an update after some time, but really this is just like down to the essentials. I kind of had a figuring of how the master classes worked, so I just tried to prepare them as best I could for this. And These turned out being the best stats for Ash. Unfortunately, he doesn't bear Crest, but with the new Save Plus file, I actually gave him Claude's bow, and he did wonders with it all the way till the end. Analyzing Sylvain was pretty interesting. He had a budding talent for reason, so I decided to go the Dark Knight route for him. I knew he was good with a lance and at writing, so the Great Knight probably would have been available to him. But like I said, reason, so I took him down the Dark Knight path. I kept his lance levels at an A, reason at B+, writing at A, and axe at C just for some versatility, although this could be just traded out for authority. A bunch of these could be. But Sylvain did really well as a Dark Knight, and having access to magic as well as being able to use the relic that he gets, I couldn't honestly not ask for any more. I mean, it'd be better if he was a flyer, but he'd kind of lose the magic. But other than that, I don't see Sylvain being anything else but a Great Knight, and I know that's what I made him when I recruited him into the Golden Deer, but it wasn't until I actually tried to look into his stats and growths and everything that I realized, hey, he actually has a pretty good growing for magic. So when I finally played the Blue Lions route, I made him a Dark Knight. I really just wanted to focus to make Mercedes a dancer, but it didn't end up going that way. Eventually I just made her a Holy Knight, focusing on bow and writing on A because of the bow that she is allowed to use, Faith at B+, and Lance at C, just because those are her requirements. Now, like I said, at first I wanted to make her a dancer. She seemed like the most obvious to become a dancer for the Blue Lions route, but with how I was growing her, I really just decided to not do it because I was already growing her on writing. I already knew from the beginning, hey, I'm gonna make this a Holy Knight, so I just focused a lot of her assets on writing, because if you have a unit that can't ride yet, you might as well teach them as much writing as you can, because you don't want to wait till it's too late. But if you have someone like, let's say Ferdinand, and he's going to become a Cavalier, you're going to want to focus on armor, heavy armor, more than writing, because he's automatically going to get those writing points each time. So Mercedes, I was already focusing on writing, and I really didn't want to give that up, so I went with the Holy Knight route, and she actually does really well. So I am not complaining at all. If you do want to do the dancer route, all for it. Like I said, I was about to do it, but I just found more use for her as a Holy Knight. For Annette, I really couldn't think of anything else but Gremory. I didn't want her writing anything because she'd have to focus on something else, and I wanted her to have Faith and Reason maxed out as much as she could. So I focused those two to have A stats. And because of her crest, I believe, she uses an axe, so I made that axe go all the way to B+, just so that she could have that extra skill and some combat arts along with it. Because a lot of these crests only need an E rank to be used, but I really love using combat arts when they can help. So as long as I got that to B+, I was fine. And then the authority I put at C, because honestly, with my healers, I either give them gambits that are either healers, magic, or what I like to do with my Holy Knights and Dark Knights, stride. That way you can help your units gain some movement for a turn and then move yourself right after. But it didn't go that way with Annette. I just gave her the authority C because I figured why not. And at the end it just ended up working. I mean, Gremlins are already kind of OP as it is. I mean, all master classes are in their own way. So giving her that B+ to Axe really helped in the end, because I really was trying to use as much relics as I can in the final boss. Ingrid was a tricky one for me at first. I always knew she was going to become a Falcon Knight at the end, but then I just noticed when I was using her that there was no Pegasus for the advanced class. It was a Wyvern Rider. And I decided, okay, yeah, that's fine. But it kind of jumbled out her growths a bit, and I feel like if I did it again, I'd probably be better at it. But these are the stats I got for her at the very end. Lance at A. It's very important that I put that first because she does have a relic, and I would like her to use that to the greatest ability that she could. So getting those Lance levels up really did help at the end. Flying at B+, because that's the minimum requirement, and she was kind of already flying since she was a Pegasus Knight, so I didn't really have to focus on that as much as the others. Axe at a B, solely because I needed to get her to the advanced class of a Wyvern Rider. Other than that, I probably would not have focused on that at all. And then Sword at C, just as a Falcon Knight requirement. But other than that, it was really just the Lance, Axe, and Flying that I had to focus on. Alright, so that is it for the Blue Lions. Let me know about your thoughts, any questions, anything. Really, my channel's pretty small right now, so if you comment anything, I'll most likely be able to reply to it. I don't really have that much of a busy schedule, except for making these videos and obviously going to work. But like I said, leave a comment, like, subscribe. It would mean a lot to me to help grow my channel out. And I'll see you next time with another video. Thank you.